The night Malcolm and his team ventured into the city of Trujillo, Peru, they were able to view a city on the verge of becoming the next hotspot for travelers. Their guide Hector first took them to a fantastic restaurant that served high-end Peruvian dishes, which caught the team speechless for words in how to describe the fantastic dishes. They also happily throughout the night continued sipping on Toro Perfecto tequila. Then, having taken a drive through the more scenic areas of Trio, Hector took Malcolm and his team to a popular discotheque where they enjoyed more merriment as they were infused into the vibrant club scene. The music was loud and it made everyone want to move, getting on the dance floor. In some ways, the scene reflected what Malcolm had known in America, yet the styles of dancing and mass collection of people gathered was unlike anything he had ever seen. As the night continued, they were led by Hector to another well-known party spot, and again the music was energetic and the Peruvian people were gathered in numbers. Malcolm took notice to the Peruvian women who were all about. They were independent, sexy women that moved so well it was hard for Malcolm to take his eyes off them. The night crept to a close and Hector guided the team out before last call through the crowd to the Toro Perfecto vehicle parked in the open garage outside of the first club. Nicole was the first to notice that a pair of men seemed to be following them, but maybe it was just a coincidence till two other men with guns jumped out ahead of the group as they were walking up onto the vehicle they came in. The two men with guns in front and the two men in back were speaking Spanish, in which Hector was the only one who could fully understand, relaying the message that they were demanding everyone get in the vehicle, first giving up their phones and having their wrists tied with zip ties. Everyone's face was filled with shock and a dreadful concern. The presence of the men holding guns made the tense situation even tenser, as one by one they gave up their phones and had their wrists bound and were forced into the vehicle. One of the four men then drove the Toro Perfecto vehicle out of the open garage and followed another vehicle with the three other men out of town. They drove in silence, Malcolm and his team wondering what was going on and where they were being taken. At a certain point, the array of city lights disappeared, and all one can see out the windows was black. The younger members of Malcolm's team were fearful for their lives, as Malcolm, trying to figure out what was happening, helped keep them calm by continually saying, "Everyone is going to be all right." Malcolm then questioned Hector to what was happening, to which Hector told him they were all being kidnapped for ransom by a local cartel who had for years tried to get a piece of Mr. Aguelo's tequila empire, having failed on their own to find a market for their lesser known brand tequila, only reaching a market in Peru and other parts of South America. Hector continued saying that they were all being taken to a hideout, which whence there, they cartel would contact Mr. Aguelo and make their demands, or else, one by one, the kidnapped members would be taken care of. Malcolm asked what the meaning of taken care of might mean. In the back of his head, he had an idea, but he wanted to get the ground of the situation, hopeful Mr. Aguelo would give them what they wanted, as he looked at the terrified faces of his team. Malcolm's heart was racing. He had no idea what to do, but he held firm and just analyzed the situation for any opening he could exploit. Soon the vehicles pulled up onto a house about 30 minutes outside of the city in the middle of what seemed like nowhere, with darkness all around them. They were all then led into the house and forced into the belly of the house's basement that was furnished with only a ratty old mattress and a small vent-sized window. From the basement, you could hear the creak of the footsteps from above, the front door opening and closing, and if you were very still, you could hear the men upstairs talking. Malcolm continued to question Hector to what could happen from here, to which Hector had no idea. Malcolm needed to show some form of leadership, as his team was looking toward him. So again, he held a brave face. As the two men came down into the basement, he tried talking with them, only getting a strong punch in the midsection and pushed to the floor. As Malcolm lay on the cold cement floor, the two men forcibly took Hector back upstairs, shutting the door to the basement with a slam and a clanking of a lock. The jovial day with the tour of the Toro Perfecto grounds and adventure into the city of Trujillo was now turning into a real nightmare that Malcolm had to now lead his team out of, as the only person they knew and knew where they were was gone, not knowing if he'd ever come back.